Hello, my name's Szonya Durant and I'm a lecturer and a researcher here in the Department of Psychology at Royal Holloway. And my specialist area of research is human visual perception. So I'm interested in a part of the brain that pieces together the visual information that arrives from the eyes, and about a third of your brain is dedicated simply to this task. It's a huge information processing problem, how to make sense of all the light information that is constantly arriving from the eyes. One of the ways we can look at this is by seeing how people move their eyes around to gather information from the world around us. This tells us how and when they're paying attention over time. And that's what we look at here in the eye tracking lab. So you can see in the lab there are several pieces of equipment. To my left here we have the eye link, which makes use of this chin rest, and it can record eye movements very rapidly, up to 2,000 times a second. And this means that you can get very tiny, very rapid eye movements by recording with this eye tracker. Even as you move your eyes, you can detect slight deviations in the way they move. Over here, what I'm going to be showing you is the Tobian Tracker, and this doesn't require a chin rest, and so it's very suitable for people such as who wouldn't like to use one, who don't want to be restrained. It allows free movement of the head, and it's good for use for children for developmental research, for example, as well. So let's take a closer look at the Toby. Okay, so we're now going to be using the Toby eye tracker to show you a bit how a typical experiment might go. This is Doa, my PhD student, who is also interested in visual perception, and he's studying aesthetics and how we perceive works of art. So what you can see in front of Doa is just a typical computer monitor, but the crucial bit is the bottom part. You can see there, the black shiny bar at the bottom, and this contains the eye tracker. Within this is infrared light that's being emitted and shining into Doa's eyes, and also infrared cameras, and they are capturing images of Doa's eyes to try and locate where the pupils are in space, and then we have to map these locations onto the screen, and that's how it tracks where Doa is looking. So I'm just going to have a little demonstration here. Doa's going to run this very simple little experiment. So here we can see that the eye tracker straight away finds Doa's pupils. As he moves his head around, you can see it doesn't lose tracking of them. Only if he moves his head very quickly, then it might lose them, or if he goes out of the range of the eye tracker, because it's processing on every single step, trying to work out where the pupils are. If it loses one eye, if it closes one eye, then it shows yellow that it's now not finding the pupils. So this is the start. The important thing is that it knows where the pupils are in space. Now we need to map them onto the screen. So you ask the participant to follow this red dot with their eyes. This is the part of the process called calibration, and here it's working out which pupil position matches with which screen position, and from these 5 locations it then estimates where every single pupil position corresponds to which part of the screen, and this is an important first part of eye tracking. Once it's calibrated, it shows you how good the results were, which look fine, and then you go on to the experiment. So in this experiment, this is a replication of an age-old experiment where you ask the participant to view a piece of art where the meaning is ambiguous, but you are asking for them to search for a certain piece of information. So if I ask Doa to look at this painting that's coming up, even though he knows nothing about it, ask him to try to decide how long the visitor was away. So Doa, have a look at the painting, and we'll let him just a few seconds of looking at that. So we can see that's a very short, very rapid experiment to get the first impression of how Doa moves his eye around in the picture. And we can straight away visualize this and see where he looked in the picture. If we just use the software that collects the eye movements, you can see typical reading eye movements as he scans across, reading the instructions. Every red dot there represents how long he rests his eye in one place, and the longer he rests his eye there, the bigger the dot is. So as he was waiting for me to say to proceed, you can see that these are the kinds of eye movements he's making. You see that there's very rapid eye movements across the screen, and then in between the eyes are resting. These are called fixations. Now we can see how he moves his eye around the image, and even within that short time you can see it's not random. Very deliberate eye movements here, focusing straight away, as you can see, mostly on the faces in that picture. And this is because this is where most relevant information is kept. Even though Doa didn't know what question I was going to ask, he's very good at rapidly focusing his attention on the relevant information. In this case, to determine how long the visitor was away, he needed social information, the reaction of people to the visitor, and this was contained in the faces. We also run other kinds of experiments here in the eye tracking lab. More applied questions can be asked as well. For example, you can use eye tracking as a very useful way of evaluating how people are reacting to cinematic techniques, which is what one of my PhD students researches. So thanks very much for watching. Please find more information about the research here in the links below, and we look forward to welcoming you here in the Department of Psychology at Royal Holloway.